Details of 2 Revolutionary Guards ballistic missile sites in western Iran. On Thursday, March 18th, the Iranian Opposition Coalition National Council of Resistance of Iran (NCRI) held a press conference providing information on 2 Revolutionary Guards IRGC ballistic missile sites in western Iran that have been used for attacks against neighboring countries. Ali Safavi of the NCRI Foreign Affairs Committee provided the information obtained by the network of the People's Mojahedin Organization of Iran (PMOI MEK). Details of 2 Revolutionary Guards ballistic missile sites in western Iran. 2 of the most important IRGC ballistic missile sites in western Iran are the missile site in Konesht Canyon located northeast of the city of Kermanshah in western Iran. This site was previously home to the IRGC's Iraqi proxies known as the 9th Badr Brigade. The Panj Pelleh missile site is located in the vicinity of Kermanshah. After Qassem Soleimani was killed in Iraq on January 3, 2020, regime Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei ordered the IRGC to launch a missile attack targeting the al-Assad base in Anbar province of western Iraq on January 8, 2020. According to information received from MEK sources inside Iran, specifically from within the regime, including the IRGC, the attacks were carried out from the Konesht Canyon and Panj Pelleh missile sites. Based on recently received information, these 2 sites are in each other's proximity, about 2 to 3 kilometers apart on 2 sides of a mountain, and are connected by underground tunnels.
Brigadier General Amir Ali Hajizadeh, commander of the IRGC's Aerospace Force, had personally taken command of the operation and was stationed at the missile site in Panj Pelleh. But less than half hour after the Ukrainian plane Flight 752 was shot down by the IRGC on January 8th, Hajizadeh quickly returned to Kermanshah Airport to fly back to Tehran.
Konesht Canyon missile site near Kermanshah. The location, close to Iran's western borders, provides a strategic site for housing and launching missiles towards potential targets. It is also perfectly suitable for harboring mobile missile launch platforms and transferring them to desired locations closer to the border. Due to its importance, the IRGC encloses a large area around this site and prevents locals from entering the area. In order to control information and movements on this site, soldiers guarding the outer area are replaced every 2 months. The specially guarded gate of this site is located on the south side, leading to the northern parts of the towns of Zafar and Takavar.
The Konesht missile site is located in the north of the city of Kermanshah, the capital of Kermanshah province, at the western border of Iran. Various types of IRGC ballistic missiles, namely the Shahab-2 and Shahab-3 families, and Zulfiqar missiles, are housed at this site. The area is surrounded by highlands in the north, east, and south, and therefore the site is well hidden between the mountains. The spot is flanked by a semi-highland area and scattered residential zones on the east side. 2 towns with an exclusively military population find themselves in the southwest. They are named Takavar, Farsi for ranger, and Zafar, Farsi for victory. The Kermanshah airport is located 10 kilometers to the south, and it is closer to the missile launch facility. The exclusive guarded gate of this site is placed on its south side, which leads to the northern parts of the towns of Zafar and Takavar, as you see in this slide. The site includes no less than 5 bases and several sheds, well dispersed from each other. At least 5 hatches are understood to be distant from the tunnels, which are very similar to the IRGC missile shelters and launch pads, like in the video clips broadcast by the state's media. These are two entries for which tunnel, and they appear to serve for inserting the missiles into the underground facilities for storage and for keeping them ready for launch throughout the launch pads. One of the bases is located 4 kilometers to north of the site, and since early 2020, the regime has created 2 new tunnels in this location. The only entrance to the site is located in the western part of it, which is north of Zafar and Takavar towns, as you can see in this slide. Let me conclude by saying that for the mullah's regime, the ballistic missile program is a strategic lever of survival. And for this reason, the project has continued uninterruptedly at the cost of billions of dollars over the past 3 decades. Missile programs, nuclear weapons, and meddling in regional countries are part and parcel of a single policy, which is the flip side of the brutal internal repression and obviously against the highest interests of the Iranian people. On July 14, 2015, a few hours after the P5+1 signed the so-called Iran nuclear deal with Iran, the NCRI's president-elect, Mrs. Maryam Rajavi, said that Western countries must insist that the Iranian regime must not interfere in the Middle East, and in fact, it must be expelled from the region. And she also emphasized that the issue of Iran's ballistic missile program must be included in any agreement with the regime. Unfortunately, of course, we have seen that Western countries have turned a blind eye to the regime's destructive behavior, an approach whose devastating impact and effects we have already seen so far. There's no question that as we speak, the regime is at a deadly impasse, and it is by continuing to foment crises, including the use of ballistic missiles, it wants to cover up its irremediable crisis and break the suffocating siege in which it finds itself. The ultimate solution from our point of view is regime change by the Iranian people and the Iranian resistance. Nevertheless, the mullahs are counting on Western inaction vis-a-vis their aggression. It is incredibly naive from our point of view to assume that giving concessions or ignoring the regime's violations will change its behavior. That has not happened so far and is very unlikely to happen in the future. In fact, the regime will not change and it will continue to produce and launch ballistic missiles. As such, we think it is high time for the international community, for the United States, and for the European Union to hold the regime accountable for its malign activities, its destabilizing actions in the Middle East, its human rights abuses, and of course, and most specifically here today, hold it to account for its ballistic missile program.